We're talking about the Chargers, baby. Let's go, Chargers! LA! Let's go! This is a very boring team. So, fit check. Cross hoodie. I'm gonna really wear hoodies. Just gray sweats. No jersey up today. So, yeah, we're just gonna get straight into it. We're gonna start with the offense. We're gonna do this one a little differently. You'll see in a second. So, let's go to the offense. Now, for your starting quarterback, you have Justin Herbert. And this is a guy I want to like. This is a guy that I want to be a fan of. But if you look at his play last year, one, he didn't play good. Well, he played good, but he didn't play great. You know, he had, for every 2 touchdowns he threw a pick, which is not good. And if you look at the film, sometimes he was doing too much with the ball. Now, I will say some of that was on the O-line, don't get me wrong, but some of it is on him as a passer too. And the reason I can't like him, even though I want to, is because of the media. Media is like, he's like mini Josh Allen. He can do no wrong. It's all on his team. But overall, I mean, not much else to say about him because he's a good quarterback and he's going to get them wins. He needs to step up this year because last year he wasn't great. The year before, he was kind of a game manager, which isn't how he should be used. I know he is definitely in a run-first offense. He should not be used as a game manager. Let him throw the ball. And if he proves that he can't, don't let him throw. I mean, it's that simple. And I think they really need to let him air it out this year. Going into the offensive weapons, I actually really like the offensive weapons on paper. Now, your running back one, really the only running back we're going to talk about is Omari Hampton. Now, when he was healthy last year, he was actually a really good rookie running back. I mean, 500 yards. If you look at the film, he had a few games where he couldn't get over 3 yards per carry. But he did play good, right? I mean, I look at the New England game. So the thing about him is I'm trying to put his stats because he doesn't have a lot of film. He only played in a few games. Now I'm looking in the postseason. He got 1 carry. He got 1 carry for -1 yards against the Patriots. But yeah, so like this is a guy who doesn't have a ton of film on him because he was injured for so long. He only got 124 carries and only 32 receptions. If he can stay healthy, I actually really like him as a back. I think he was a good pick last year for the Chargers, and especially in such a run-heavy offense that Jim Harbaugh likes. I really like that. I'm not going to talk about him, but you do got Kamari Vidal, and I like him. I think he's a serviceable back too, but the guy I actually want to focus on is Keaton Mitchell. I'm pretty high on Keaton Mitchell, and you're probably like, why the hell are you high on Keaton Mitchell? No particular reason, honestly. I just think he's talented, and I think he can be a good back if he's given the chance. I mean, he's never really been given the chance. Obviously, he was behind Henry last 2 years, actually. But I'm pretty high on him, honestly, and I would love to see him play more. I hope he gets to be the back, too. We're not going to talk anymore about Chargers running backs anymore. We're going to go right into the wide receivers. And I like this wide receiving core more than I did last year. You got Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Trey Harris. Now, I know Ladd McConkey's coming off a pretty rough year, but he has a real OC now, which we'll get to later, but I think he can get back to his rookie form and probably even better. I mean, he wasn't even bad last year on film, nor stats-wise, really. Yes, he only had 700 yards last year compared to 1,100 the year before. But Keenan Allen was low-key stealing those yards. And Quentin Johnston, who had a mini breakout last year. A career high in receiving yards, tied for a career high in touchdowns. I really do think with Mike McDaniel at OC, he could also maybe break out. I know they didn't accept his 5th-year option, but this is a guy I think can maybe ball out in in his last year. And then Trey Harris, in his rookie year, he did nothing impressive. He was a wide receiver 4 behind Keenan Allen, which sucks for his development, but you also got to sit behind one of the best route runners of the modern NFL, which is good. But I actually do really like this receiving core and the running back room. I don't think Herbert has any excuse there. I know in the past it's been like, okay, he doesn't have any weapons outside of Keenan Allen or outside of this guy. Like, I think we got to put that to rest. Because last year, Quentin Johnston kind of broke out. Trey Harris is a second-round pick. Ladd McConkey has just been really serviceable, almost 2,000 yards in 2 years. Now looking at the tight end room, I actually really like this tight end room. You got Orlando, oh my goodness, Orlando Gadsden. I have to keep all that in. And you know what? I know he had a few games last year where he was pretty non-existent, but he played well. So I'm excited to see what he can do in his second year, maybe with a little more stability because Herbert doesn't have to be scrambling for his life. But then also you have David Njoku behind him, and that's a really good veteran guy to have. And he could weasel his way into starting. I don't think he should start, but he's a good veteran guy for them. And then, of course, you have Charlie Kolar, which I do think they overpaid for, but he's one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. Like, there's no doubt about that. And I really like that he's here for the run game. And you can run I think with those three guys, you can run a lot of 3 tight end sets, which they didn't typically do last year. But I really do think they can now, because Gadsden isn't the best blocker, but he's good. Njoku's a very serviceable blocker, and Kolar's a good blocker. When I get back, we're going to be doing the O-line. It's been a few days since I said we'll be right back. So anyways, we're going to jump into the O-line now. And I'll say this. There's no way, unless injuries, and I know Rashawn Slater already did get hurt. I know it's a minor injury, but there's no way, barring injuries, this O-line is anywhere as bad as it was last season. I mean, when Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater are healthy, arguably the best tackle duo in the league. Now, and then you bring in Cole Strange as your guard. Is he good? Not really. But he's better than what they have. And which is actually a big improvement from Mekhi Becton last year, who fell off a cliff after having one good season with the Eagles. Now at center, it cannot feasibly get worse because he was the worst ranked center in the league last year. So you bring in Tyler Biadasz. I don't know if that's how you say it. Again, he's not a great center, but it can't be worse than what you had last year. He was literally ranked the worst center in the league. And then at left guard, you bring in Jake Slater. Or is it Slaughter? I don't know. Out of the draft, I like it. Second round pick. You desperately need interior O-line help. I like it. I'm not too caught up on him. If I'm Florida, I watched a little bit of film on him. It was always a good film. I didn't see any bad film. I didn't look for any bad film. I'll say that. So yeah, I mean, this definitely will be a better O-line. Overall, this offense I do think should be more productive from last season. So yeah, I mean, see, that was fast with the O-line. I mean, I have high ambitions for this team in terms of O-line. If Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater can play the full season, you have great exterior. But then the interior, it will be rough at times. I can't see it being worse than last year, though. So hopefully Justin Herbert won't kind of have to play that hero ball that he loves to play. So we'll see, though. I mean, we're going to run into the defense real fast. Now, they run a 3-4 defense, and I want to say this very fast before we do get into the coaching stuff. They're losing, in my opinion, a top 5 defensive coordinator. It's a big loss, honestly. But looking at your left edge, you have Teair Tart. Again, these are projected starters. Yeah, I don't want to be mean, but he hasn't been productive in his career. He's in his 7th season. Now at your D tackle, you have Dalvin Tomlinson. Now, is he a bad D tackle? I wouldn't say yeah. But he's definitely not a good D tackle. He is older. And then your right DN, you have Jermay Cadwell, I think is how you say that. He's only in his second year as a 3rd round pick. High hopes for him. He didn't get to play a ton last year. When he did play, he was all right. I'd love to see him play, though. I mean, we'll see. I mean, only time will tell with him. He's a very young player. And overall, I want to say right now that kind of sucks. It's a good thing they use their linebackers as rushers, and we're going to get into one right now. Tulip Lotu, who I absolutely love. I believe he is in his 3rd season now. 4th season now. I love him. Obviously, he's been really good for the Chargers when he has been on the field, and he has been on the field in every single game of his career, except I think one game last year where they were sitting starters, week 17. I mean, he's been really dang good for them. one of the best edge rushers in this division, in my opinion, which is maybe a little bit of a hot take. There's a pretty good edge rushing division. I would argue he's top 3, and I'm just going to go to it right now. Who is your strong side linebacker is Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is still a great player, do not get me wrong. He's not what he used to be, but, I mean, he's 35. You don't expect that same guy you had back in Oakland or, hell, even Chicago. But he's definitely a great player still. He's still this is still a guy you have to game plan around. And those two weak side and strong side linebackers make a crazy scary duo. You're looking at your left inside linebacker is Daiyan Henley. Now, I've talked to some Chargers fans, and this is a guy that you don't hear a lot about in the media, but Chargers fans love this guy. I'm not sure, but I think he just got paid recently. Actually, I can take a look right now. It does not look like that, but talking to Chargers fans, they do really like Daiyan Henley. When he plays, he's been good for them. Again, this is coming from Chargers fans. Looking at film, I do really like him. I think he is a good linebacker. And I think he can, again, he's a young linebacker. He's only into his 4th year as well. So, I mean, if he can keep up getting better, and last year definitely was his best year stat-wise, film-wise, definitely his best year. If he can keep developing, he will be a really good interior linebacker. Now, looking at the guy next to him, you have Denzel Perryman. Now, I won't lie to you, I know he's been in the league quite a long time. I don't know a lot about him. I know he was drafted to San Diego, left for a few years and came back. And stat-wise, he's been pretty decent. Film-wise, he's been pretty decent again. Nothing too crazy, especially in terms of coverage. He's not great coverage-wise. But this is definitely a guy that, if he's healthy, will give you solid to good linebacker play, which is really needed. And I already talked about the strong side linebacker, which was Khalil Mack. Now we're going to jump right into the corners with Cam Hart. Now, I'm a big Cam Hart guy. He's a young cornerback, and it's hard to be a young cornerback in the NFL. Not a lot of young cornerbacks succeed, but he's only going to his 3rd year, which admittedly he doesn't get talked about a lot because he was in a super strong quarterback class and a very quarterback-heavy class, even if a lot of them weren't strong. I mean, this guy's coming out of a draft with Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Terrion Arnold, who wasn't good, but, he's a big name because of off-field antics. I do think he's a little underrated. He definitely has work to go. He's not a shutdown corner, but he's definitely not a ball hawk. But this is definitely a guy that I trust on my field to be a starting corner. He definitely hasn't had his ups and downs throughout his career already. Specifically, in his rookie year, he looked like a rookie, which rookies should look like rookies. But I do think he can take a big progression step this year. But I will say I am worried a little bit about that progression without Jesse Minter. But I think what will really help him is the rest of the secondary. Now, looking at your right side cornerback, you got Dante Jackson, I'm sorry. Now, again, this is just a good corner for you. Is he great? No. But he's definitely a ball hawk. I mean, looking at it right now, in his last 2 seasons alone, he has 9 dang picks. That's crazy. That's great for a defense. And I believe he actually allowed bottom 3 yards per game last season. Obviously, he wasn't targeted a ton. But he's also definitely not a lockdown corner. But he is definitely a good corner. This is an upper echelon corner that most teams would kill to have on their team. Now, is he a little older? Yeah, he could definitely fall off this year. He's going into his age 30 season. Corners typically tend to fall off a little faster. And honestly, last year he did look a little washed. But again, he's 30 and he's giving you serviceable cornerback play, which is more than you can ask for in the league. Now, looking at your nickelback, this is another guy I really do like. Tarheeb Still. He's going into his 2nd year. He didn't play a ton last year. When he did play, he was very iffy, to say the least. But this is a guy I do think can take a big step forward going into year 2. Year 3, I lied. Wow, they had an impressive 24 draft. I'm sorry. But again, in his rookie year, he had 4 picks. He's definitely a ball hawk. Last year, he didn't have any, sadly. But this is definitely a guy another guy I would trust in the secondary. As long as the pass rush can get home, I think these guys should be good. And last year, it's kind of not talked about. The Chargers were a good defense. No one had a huge year statistically, kind of like the Seahawks. No one had one big, huge statistical year, but this was still a very good unit. Now, obviously, they don't have, like, the Devon Witherspoon. I lied, they do. You get Derwin James at your strong safety, who is 30, and this guy just doesn't want to be bad. He refuses to be bad. I mean, his entire career, he's been a good safety. He's good. He's good with ball handling. He's good in coverage. He's great at tackling, forcing fumbles. If you need him to go sack your QB, he'll do it. This is a guy that I hate because, like, no matter what, you can predict the fall off of this guy, but it won't happen. He's kind of like a Derrick Henry, where he kind of breaks the laws of his position. I'm a big Derwin James guy. I love watching him play, and I don't see him getting bad anytime soon unless he just really falls off a cliff. And then you get Elijah Molden at your free safety, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like all the film I watched on this guy, he was playing corner. Now, he doesn't have a lot of film. He's only in his 6th year, drafted to Tennessee. He's good with the ball, but he's not a great covering, which maybe they're transitioning him to safety because I feel like when I watched him at corner, he wasn't great. I mean, this is definitely a better secondary than what we've looked at previously. I'm actually pretty high on this defense, even with them losing their big mastermind behind the defense, and Jesse Minter, of course, but I do like this defense. Now, we will need to transition over into the free agent acquisitions, my absolute least favorite part of the video. And you're probably like, Joseph, why do you hate this part of the video? Because the Chargers are greedy fucks. Like, no way around it. We already went over a few. David Njoku, Charlie Kohler, Tyler Bibaze. I still know how to say his name. I'm sorry. Cole Strange. And then Dalvin Tomlinson as well. Denzel Perryman, who returned actually. Like, you have all this money. I know this free agency wasn't like huge. Let's be honest. Your receiving core needs work. I did say I liked it, but it does need work. You could have went out and got a veteran. They might bring back Keenan Allen. Reportedly, it's not very likely though. I mean, this is a team that has so much money, and your biggest signing is David Njoku. Oh, I lied. It's actually Charlie Kohler. I don't like it. I don't like this free agency class. It's cheap. I mean, yeah, you address offensive line, which you desperately needed. But honestly, outside of weapons, besides David Njoku, they didn't get anybody. They should have brought in a veteran back. They probably should have brought in a veteran wide receiver. That's not Quentin Johnston, because he, out of the starters, obviously, out of the actual named players, he's the only one with actual, I'm not high on this class. I mean, who they re-signed, I do like a little more. Khalil Mack, Deshaun Phillips, Keaton Mitchell they did bring in actually. I forgot about that. This is very whatever class. I mean, I'm not a fan of it. And we're just going to go straight into the coaching staff for this because it will make me feel a lot better because I hated this segment. Okay, now looking at these coaching staff. Obviously, we're gonna get Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel out of the way. Those are two guys will do good. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh. We've seen him as the Chargers head coach. He's already had 2 very successful years. And Mike McDaniel is a hire I'm very excited about because I do really think he could unlock this offense's potential. Running backs, wide receivers, Herbert, maybe we can get back to prime Herbert. I'm very excited about those two, and I think those are really good signings. Well, I guess one was only a signing and one retention. This is the one that kind of trips me up. You lose Jesse Minter, and in my opinion, Jesse Minter, one of the best coordinators in the league. Yeah. So you bring in Chris O'Leary, which I don't know a lot about him. I believe he was at Western Michigan last year, if I'm not mistaken. I also believe that this is his first stint as an NFL defensive coordinator, and I'll say this. I wish him the best of luck. I do expect a little shakiness towards the beginning of the season for this defense. One, because it's a big adjustment, college to NFL. And two, this is a guy who hasn't worked with any of these players before. But best of luck to him. Now we will be going into the draft, per use. I'm actually a pretty big fan of this draft. Round 1, he's going to end up starting. You get Akeem Mesidor. They might have him sit a little bit at the beginning of the season, but I do think he'll definitely end up starting this year. He's a good edge for Miami. I like him. Now, where his numbers may be a little inflated from playing next to Ruben Payne, maybe. I don't see a problem in that, though. I think he will be a good edge rusher for this team. Now, looking at the guard they got, who I already talked about, Jake Slaughter. I like it. I think maybe a bit of an overdraft, but you really need a guard to help take what you need and don't overthink it. Then you jump all the way to round 4. We get Brennan Thompson, who, due to this being such a loaded young wide receiver room, I don't expect to get a ton of play time. Travis Burke, O-tackle. You know what? It's a depth pick. It's fine. I will never hate on a depth pick in a draft. Round 4, it's good. I mean, if God forbid, you have another season where your tackles go down, you don't want to have that tackle play again. Now, Jenius Smith, safety. Yeah, you need some safety depth. We talked about it earlier. I'm not too high on it. Well, I'm high on Derwin James, but on the other side of him, not too high on it. Now I'm just going to run through these 3. Alex Harkley, Logan Taylor, and Nick Barrett. I don't expect any of them to have rookie impact, again, unless injuries. Maybe Alex Harkley can find his way starting, who's a guard, by the way. And then Nick Barrett could be tackle out Gamecock, go Cox. But I don't really expect that. So, I mean, overall, I think this is a good draft. I think this is a developmental draft, which I do like those type of drafts, but not for this team. I feel like this team really is kind of in the window. Maybe they're just at the beginning where it's like, okay, we need to start pushing for the Super Bowl. Obviously, every team wants to win the Super Bowl, duh. But this is a team that I think honestly has a better chance than most teams do in their situation. And I don't really think this helps any of their chances. I mean, their first 2 picks I do think helps, but everything outside of that's kind of depth. But you know what? I'll never hate on a draft that is just here to develop players. Good. Depth drafts are good. Now going into the schedule part of the video and where I predict their record. Every schedule we've looked at so far has been so ridiculous that it's actually nice to see one here that starts off pretty nice. Cardinals and Raiders, week 1 and 2, both at home. Those should be 2 wins. I mean, I get the Raiders game, a divisional game. First off, the teams just kind of hate each other, so I could see the Raiders maybe squeaking out a win. I don't expect it. It definitely gets a lot harder from there. Now, rattling off your 4 games before the bye, you have Bills, Seahawks, Broncos, Chiefs. 3 away, 1 home. I think they might be able to get one of those wins, and I don't think it's against the Seahawks or Broncos. Maybe, you know what? I do think they could beat the Broncos at home, but I don't see them beating the Seahawks. But I do have them winning 2 of those games now that I think about it. I said 1, but I think they could beat either the Bills or Chiefs, or the Bills and Broncos, or Broncos and Chiefs. But then you do go into your bye week. This is another rough 3-stretch game, where it's again 2 away and 1 home. Rams, which is kind of a home game. It's technically away, but same stadium. Texans, which is home, and Ravens, which is away, which Ravens is also Monday Night Football. I think they could honestly lose all 3 of those games. But then they do get a little bit of a break, if you want to call it that. Home against the Jets, home against the Patriots, away against the Bucs, away against the Raiders. Now, I do think they could win 3 or even 4 of those games. I think the Bucs may give them a little trouble, but I do think they could beat the Bucs, and I think the Patriots could beat them. But again, I do think that's kind of a 50-50 game. I know the Patriots beat them last year, but I think it's 50-50. And then it gets a little harder. Again, your last 4 games are San Francisco on Thursday Night Football, which is home, Dolphins away, Chiefs home, Broncos away. Now, again, I think they could win 2 of those games. I don't think they can beat the Niners. I just don't like how they match up against the Niners. I do think they could obviously beat the Dolphins. Now, Chiefs and Broncos, I think they can go 1-1 in those games. So overall, not that bad of a schedule. Definitely one of the easier ones we've looked at. There's obviously still a very hard schedule. Definitely easier, not as hard as most of the teams we've looked at. And I'll give you a record prediction real fast. Now I'm going to start out hot and say I think they have a floor of 9-8, but a ceiling of 11-6. And I'm going to predict this team to go 10-7. Now, I think there's a lot of 50-50 games in this. I look at the Patriots, who I don't know why I feel like they actually match up really well against the Pats. If the O-line can be better than it was in the playoffs, yeah, they can win it. I do think the Niners, I don't think they match up well, but I still think they might be able to squeak out a win. I think they get 4 or 5 wins in their division. I think that's pretty good. I think 10-7 would be good for them. And looking at it right now, they do lead their division at 10-7. So congratulations. We'll see. We have the Broncos next, of course, which I'll be filming in 10 minutes. So take care. Spread some love today. I love you, Chargers fans. Love all the fans.